Okay, we're live. Welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Thanks for joining tonight. We're going to be taking a look at something that a lot of people might find, that's no big deal. Come on. If a cop asks you to do that, come on. What is this, the hill you're going to die on? And I would contend, yes, this is the hill that you should probably die on. So, or at least attempt to offer up a good fight. So I appreciate you guys being here. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. What's up, John? Strata, our guy, News Nebraska. Appreciate you being here. We'll wait for some more people to get into the room. If you're watching this video after it gets done rendering and becomes a video off the live stream, then just fast forward about 2 minutes if you don't want to see the introductions. What's up, Fake Mike Real News? Check out Fake Mike Real News. Has a really good channel, has a head full of knowledge, and lays it on the general public and law enforcement officials really, really well. What's up, ANCAP Gamer, WCMW, Sweet Tea, The Real Truth, Little Ghost 5x5, DJS. If you guys have a question you want me to field and you want to give my attention and you want to do it by Super Chat, or if you want to do it by Cash App, the Cash App's on the screen. If you want to do Super Chat, either way, just leave me the message that you want me to read out, observation you want to lay down, a question you want to ask, or whatever. And if you guys are interested in doing a live stream tonight, at least for a couple minutes, have some call-ins, put a 1 in the room. Just say, just put a 1. If you want to do a live call-in, put a 1 in the room, and then we'll try to make some time for that. What's up, Work Lion? Thanks for being a member here. If you want to become a member, it's only $2.99 a month. We'll continue to pump out the content that attempts to set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Mandatory Mayo, how you doing, man? Thanks for dropping that link, Fake Mike Real News. And I won't neglect any, or I'll try not to. Mods, please help me with this. If somebody sends a Super Chat or a Cash App or whatever, I'm going to read every single one of them. So don't worry, I'll get your message out there. And also, let me just lay down some groundwork. If you guys are interested in a call-in, let's keep it to about 5 minutes of conversation, and let's try to stay on the topic. If you got something else that you think might be interesting or interesting to the audience, let me know. And then after 5 minutes, we'll go into the chat room and we'll ask, hey, is this something you want us to keep on doing? You'll put a 1 in the room for yes, 2 in the room for no, and then we'll move on to the next caller. Because I really want this to be something that is, going to kind of increase our knowledge banks so that we can be more equipped to deal with the tyranny that we're basically facing these days. I wanted to start off with something kind of humorous, but also kind of infuriating, because this is an episode of Archie Bunker from back in the it's All in the Family, but it's Archie Bunker who's basically the main character here. But he's talking to Michael Stivic, who's the meatheads. What are you meatheads, huh? And Michael Stivic face palms at something that's absolutely common sense. Who do you want to be in a wheelchair? The innocent guy that had violence executed against him, or the guy who defended himself with a firearm and then the criminal gets put in the wheelchair? How is that a facepalm? Interesting stuff, man. So the propaganda that we're seeing today is only being ramped up, and the foundation that was laid long ago. If they want your guns, if people are going to make laws so that they can make you less safe, then that's a government that you don't trust. You don't want to trust. So I'm going to go over this video right here. This is a video from Double App News. And the name of the video is Cop Tries to Violate Civil Rights. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because this is something that a lot of people look at and they think, that's no big deal. Come on. The cop just asked for this one little thing. Is this really a hill that you want to die on? Is this really something you want to make a big deal out of? And I contend it is, because one of the hallmarks of freedom is being able to maintain and retain anonymity. And when a cop says, can I see your ID? They're actually wanting to make you insecure in your person, houses, papers, and effects. In this case, in your person. They're there to violate your Fourth Amendment right. If you don't have your Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects, you are not free. Let's take a look at this.
Like I said, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. My name is Officer Weaver, McKee Police Department.
Okay, what's your badge number?
My badge number was 304. What's your name, please?
I don't answer questions. You ran my plate already.
I did not run your plate.
Okay, you can run the plate.
Yeah, I know I can run your plate because I have a legal right to do so.
Is this a traffic stop?
I'm conducting an investigation.
Okay, so I don't need to answer your questions.
Well, if you hinder my investigation, you can be cited for that.
Okay.
Okay? That's the way that it is in Kentucky. When I went through the academy, that's the way that I was trained, is that if I'm conducting an investigation, I have the right to temporarily detain you.
Okay, what's your investigation?
My investigation was that there was an approximate 12-year-old juvenile running around this specific area naked. That's a very serious complaint. Okay? It's not just a, hey, how are you, why are you here? This is a very serious complaint.
Gotcha. Who made the complaint?
I received that call in public service, and I do not have to tell you that.
Okay, so call the complainant and figure out, where this child went. We have nothing to do with that.
Okay, all right. You have your identification on you?
No,
Here we
sir,
go.
I don't need to
Here we go.
identify myself.
You don't have to identify yourself?
No.
Okay.
You have reasonable articulate suspicion.
Oh, they don't like that. They do not like that. Hey, do you have your ID? No, I don't need to identify myself. You don't need to identify yourself? They look at you like a horse staring at a new gate because they're used to people just complying. They just go, oh, yeah, sure. Sure, no problem, officer. Let me give you my ID. No problem. They don't like the pushback. They don't like the fact that somebody's actually going to stand on their rights, walk in their knowledge, and not be ignorant around them. They really want to capitalize on ignorance.
That I've committed a crime?
I do not think that you have committed a crime.
You have a body camera?
I have my body camera on.
Okay, very
this
good.
time, so
Gotcha.
it's recording.
And do you have an incident number for this? Or a CAD number or anything like that?
Dispatch will have a CAD number because I just radioed
Gotcha.
it.
So this is not a traffic stop. You're just doing an investigation, right?
I am conducting an investigation in reference to the safety of a juvenile,
Gotcha.
which is a very serious charge.
Okay, so
complaint.
I'm not obstructing you in any way. You can go ahead and do your investigation, but I'm not answering any questions.
You are obstructing my investigation by not answering any questions.
That right there is a frickin' lie. This cop walked up to this man and gave some directives. I want to see your ID. I want you to answer some questions. If you don't answer my questions when I'm the one that initiated the contact, you are obstructing a police officer and I can arrest you for that. So what you have here is when the officer is asking for an ID, that question accompanies the overarching theme of this officer walking up, and that is there's the implied threat of force and violence because an armed man is walking up to you who believes he has the authority to have you answer any question that he asks. And if you don't do it, then you've committed a crime in his eyes. And guess what? You're about to be punished, buddy. If you don't answer my questions, I will punish you. Can you imagine interacting with people in your daily life like that? Hey, let me ask you a couple questions. Do I know you? No, but I want to ask you some questions. I don't want to answer your questions. No, at this point, we're way past that point. Here's the deal. You're going to answer my questions or I'm going to cite you for obstruction of my questions because I'm conducting an investigation. They'd be like, what'd you do? Just escape from the funny farm? But for some reason, the major problem is not that we have costumed armed clowns walking around our communities asking these questions and issuing threats. It's that other people actually look at the costumed clowns as though they are authority. So there's only one legitimate authority on this planet, as far as I know, and that's a parent to a child. But when these cops walk up to you like they're your governmental parent, and if you don't answer my question, well, I'm going to punish you like a parent would a child, we got a serious problem there. But the biggest problem is from the pool of humanity who actually bows down to these public servants.
That's not how it works.
It's not how it works?
No.
Where did you get your degree? Are you an attorney?
Where'd you get your
Or are
degree?
you a citizen?
I don't answer any questions.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I am not trying to be difficult with you.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
I'm simply trying to conduct an investigation. From what I understand, the way that I was trained at the DLCJT Academy in Richmond was that I have the right to detain you temporarily to conduct an investigation. You're refusing to answer my questions, which means
the way I was trained, we have the perfect right to violate your Fourth Amendment right to be secured in your person's house, papers, and effects, and we can detain you. We can hold you against your will. We can keep you from traveling. We can keep you from going anywhere. We can tie your hands behind your back. We can throw you in the back of the squad car until we get done with our investigation. The most important thing is that we get done with our investigation, and that requires that I have your name. If you don't give me your name, then you're obstructing justice.
You are hindering my investigation.
That's not how it works.
Okay. So
I love this guy.
The authority on the rules? I'm not. I'm just trying to follow them the best I was trained. Did you create the rules, or?
Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
I suspect. Since I don't have to interrogate you, and I don't have to read you your rights because we're just talking. You're not under arrest. I think that you are being very suspicious in the sense that you do not want to identify yourself. You're creating a certain amount of suspicion about yourself.
Is suspicious a misdemeanor or a felony?
No, that is not a crime.
Okay.
You're not committing a crime.
Am I being detained right now?
You are being detained.
Okay, so the only way an officer, and as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room, in all 50 states, a cop cannot detain you unless they suspect that you have, are committing, or are about to commit a crime, and they have to have RAS, reasonable, articulable suspicion. So this guy just admitted that he doesn't suspect this guy who's in this truck of committing a crime, but he's going to detain him anyway against their own rules. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
That's right. So I can conduct
For
an
what
investigation.
crime am I being detained?
You do not have to be committing a crime to be detained. I'm conducting an investigation. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying to you. I mean, I said you haven't committed a crime.
Okay.
I said, but I'm conducting an investigation.
Okay, so do your investigation.
May I have your name and your identification?
No, sir.
Okay. May I have the child's name?
No, those are my kids and they're minors.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
He's
And
desperate.
so you're refusing to answer my questions.
Yes.
Okay. So if I write you a ticket for hindering my investigation,
You'll be violating my civil rights and you'll be in civil litigation.
okay, for doing what?
Am I being detained?
You're being detained
Okay.
because I'm conducting an investigation.
I'm requesting your supervisor now.
If he is still around, I'll be more than glad to get him for you. I'll tell you what, I'll try to call him on the phone to help you.
Nah,
Okay.
I don't want to speak on the phone.
Okay.
I love how
Why
calm.
don't you tell dispatch to call the
I love how calm, clear, and articulate Double App News is being here.
complainant, see if they can get a description or whatever the case
Well,
may be
let's
to
be
help you
very
in your
clear.
investigation.
Sir, I'm the police. Are you a police officer?
I don't answer questions.
Okay. I'm a police officer. I have the authority over this investigation. Okay? I have the authority.
Why are you harassing me right now?
Can you please define harassment?
Let's see. Entering into a conversation with somebody that I don't want to have a conversation with. Engaging with somebody who tells me that I can't go anywhere, and if I do, you're going to bring the authority and the power of the state down upon me with the implied threat of force and violence. That would constitute harassment, I would think.
You're harassing me right now.
Yes.
No, I don't meet the criteria. Just like you,
Absolutely
you haven't
does.
committed a crime. So I'm not charging
Guys,
you.
all you have to do is take this guy out of his uniform, mentally take him out of his uniform for a second and just express to him, if I walked up to a regular person like you're doing and told him that I'm conducting an investigation, and if he doesn't follow my commands and edicts and answer my questions, I'm going to hold him against his will, you, officer, would do something about that, right? Well, that's exactly what you're doing to me, and it doesn't make it okay. There's no authorization for you guys to do that just because you're wearing a uniform, badge, and a gun and coming with the authority of the state, the supposed authority of the state.
With a crime.
Okay.
You're saying that I'm harassing you, but I'm not. I have not committed the act of harassment. I'm simply conducting an investigation.
I've not committed
you know
the act of harassment while he's engaged in harassing the guy that he's saying he's not harassing.
I mean, you know, discomfort, and I am certainly not going to violate any of your civil rights.
Oh, you're not going to violate my civil rights? Okay, just move your cruiser because this cruiser's parked in front of this guy's truck. See you later. Oh, no. I didn't say you could go anywhere. Okay, that's called harassment.
Okay?
Nerd
All
with
I'm
a
doing
gun.
is conducting an investigation. What I would like to know is if if your children, however many you have in your vehicle, have been running around.
And I answered that when you first pulled up. I said, I know nothing about that.
Okay. You said you know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Was that? Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to run your license plate.
You could do that. That's public information.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not harassing you. I'm simply conducting an investigation. I don't want to violate your rights. I have rights, you have rights.
Okay.
And I don't want to infringe upon those.
And if you violate my rights, you lose your qualified immunity.
Okay. That's totally fine.
I like what Denver Metro Audits and some of those other ones out there say. You lose your qualified immunity, and I'm attaching myself to your pension for the rest of your life. How do you feel about that, officer?
Because
that's
better get your lawyer. Better get him right now.
Fine. Okay.
That would be fine if I violate your rights, but I'm not violating your rights, so I don't have anything to worry about because I don't intend to do that.
No problem.
So
I appreciate that. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to just mute this real quick while the video's going, but because I don't think there's any talking right here. Stay tuned, guys, because we are going to do a live call-in later, and I will put the number. Crypto King asked me, we're going to do it through Telegram. I'm going to put the link or the number up on the screen here in a second, or in a couple minutes. Okay, we're fast forwarding. Let me just go forward here.
Temporarily detain you on conducting an investigation. You're refusing to identify yourself, so you are hindering.
That's because I don't have to. I haven't committed a crime.
Always record the police.
Hello?
Always
I have
record.
a gentleman here who's refusing to answer any of my questions. He's refusing to identify himself. He's parked here at the extension office in the same vicinity that I received the complaint. So he's just refusing to. The vehicle's running. I don't know if it's in gear or not, but has operational control of the vehicle, and he's refusing to identify himself or anyone else in the vehicle. And like I said, I'm not trying to violate his rights. I'm just simply trying to conduct an investigation because
I'm violating his rights, but I'm not trying. I could do this in my sleep.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should have a little backup here in just a second. So
backup.
We'll get to that and make sure that we stay within his rights. But I was pretty sure that he has to identify himself, or otherwise he's hindering my investigation, like I've plainly stated.
All this says, I really want to get him, Sarge. Come on, give me something so I can get him. We got backup here. Let's see how emboldened this guy becomes.
Okay. Yeah.
What's up, Sci-Fi Bri, the video guy? Thanks for being a member, man.
I was talking to you. I think that dispatch tried. I was talking to you, your chief deputy. So
Let's see. He's gonna get off the phone right here. Let me. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, he was concerned about the nature of the call and what's going on. Like I said, I don't want to violate your rights, but at all, and I'm not going to violate your rights. But I do have the right to conduct an investigation.
Okay, yes,
you're refusing to cooperate, and
I don't work for you guys. I don't need to help
This
you in
is
your investigation.
so insidious.
well, you don't work for me. That much is clear because I don't know you. If I did know you, I would know your name and that kind of thing. But so, are you aware that in the state of Kentucky, if you're in operational control of this vehicle and an officer asks you to identify yourself, you're required to do that?
In a traffic stop. Is this a traffic stop?
Well, it's an investigation. You have operational
He is
control of
lying.
this vehicle.
Okay.
Guys, this is deception. This guy is lying through his teeth about everything. Nothing he's saying is the truth. He's trying to sound like a nice guy. He's trying to sound like, hey, I'm here to protect your rights, but you got to understand, I got a job and I've got to get your ID. It's my job to make you insecure in your prisons, houses, papers, and effects. No, I don't suspect you of committing a crime, but yes, I am going to detain you. And if during this detention you try to run, well, me and my buddy, we're going to tackle you. If we don't have the physical capability of running after you and tackling you, then we will call for extra backup and we will bring you in. That's what they're saying. This guy's acting like he's being all nice, but this is basically the devil with an angel mask on.
You need to know that you legally have the right to.
You already ran the plate.
I didn't get the information back.
Okay. Well, this is not a traffic stop.
I am, however, conducting an investigation. You're in operational control of that vehicle. Yeah.
But you're not detaining me because I did something with my vehicle that you find is contrary to the vehicle code. So that doesn't work. That doesn't apply. But it's not going to keep him from trying here.
Like I said, I came to you professionally.
And you're going to jam yourself up. I'm telling you.
I came to you professionally. That's like the thief going, look, I did the best that I could to break into your house professionally. I was kind and courteous to your wife while I tied you guys up, and I asked for the safe combination and stole a whole bunch of money from you. You got it. Can you just fill out this questionnaire for me? And my boss is he's really on my case, and I really need 5 stars tonight. So could you just tell my boss that I was a 5-star thief while I stole your stuff? I don't care how professional you are. I'm a professional murderer. I'm a professional thief. I'm a professional deceiver. I don't care. I don't want to be deceived. I don't want to be stolen from, and I don't want to be murdered. So you can be as professional as you want. That doesn't make what you're doing right. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
We were all good until you got here. We were having
exactly total domination. Meanwhile, there's a kid missing.
God. Splendid day, brother.
Okay. So
don't violate my rights.
So
I'm telling you.
So by asking you some questions, I've
no, absolutely not. You can ask, but I can refuse. Unless you suspect me of committing a crime, I don't need to identify myself.
Well, I tell you what, since you're not under arrest, and I'm going to do everything that I can to treat you as fairly as possible. But if you put yourself in my shoes and you were a police officer, and I refuse to identify yourself with a juvenile in the car.
That's actually good that you guys have body cameras. For a small department like yours, I'm glad you guys have body cameras.
That's great. The guy in the truck did not address what this cop said, because the cop said something completely ridiculous. If you put yourself in my tyrannical shoes and you were trying to exact tyranny on somebody else, I hope you'd be able to understand that. Wake Up America and Resist. Thank you for that super chat. It says nothing but respect, Brian. We may not see it in our lifetime, but your teaching will be here for everyone to learn from. Thank you, man. Thank you for that.
Do you know why we have body cameras?
I don't know why, but it's good for transparency.
That's exactly right. I'm trying to be transparent with you.
Do you have a CAD number for this? Or?
I will have.
Okay.
Yep. See, I'm not at my mobile computer because I'm conducting this investigation, and just given the nature of what we have, I'm not going to step away from my vehicle. You've created a certain amount of suspicion and uneasiness with me trying to...
Wait a minute, I'm not going to step away from my vehicle. Guys, his vehicle is way over here to the right of the screen. He's like 15, 20 feet away from his vehicle. He's already stepped away from... What's he even talking about? Somebody said in the chat room, I can't remember who said it, but IQ of 90 or less. They won't accept people with 90 IQ or less. I keep hearing that, although, I've encountered some cops who seem to have a good grasp on the English language and a good head on their shoulders, and they seem like they're higher than 90 IQ than me, or to me, but I don't know.
How can I quell your suspicion?
To me, I don't care what your IQ is. To me, are you going to be moral or you're going to be immoral? Are you going to conduct the affairs of your life in a voluntary or a coercive fashion? Are you going to be a tyrant or are you going to be somebody who's going to guard my freedom? Have 130 IQ. Have an 80 IQ. I don't care how stupid. I don't care how ignorant. I don't care how articulate or not. Don't violate my rights. Don't do it in a professional manner. Don't do it in a sloppy manner. That's really, at the end of the day, I don't give a dang how stupid or intelligent the guy who's pulling you over is. The question is he there to violate your rights? I saw what was it? I was coming home from the gym, I think, one night, and I started recording these cops because I saw somebody was pulled over. And as I was recording, I walked up just in just enough time to hear the lady say, "Hey, thank you for doing that. I didn't see that. There was something faulty on the back of her truck, and it didn't look like they were there to harass her. It looked like they were actually there to be public servants and say, hey, I just want you to know this thing was hanging off the back of your truck. You might want to, do something about it before it falls off and hits somebody else's windshield or something." So I'm not going to upload it because it wasn't really that big of a deal, and it's only like 2.5 or 3 minutes. But that's an example of somebody walking up and not abusing their authority. But then anybody can do that. You don't have to be a cop. You can flash the lights at somebody and go, "Hey, there's a 2x4 that's about to drop off your truck. I thought you might want to know." Anybody could do that.
You can identify yourself.
Okay. Do you suspect me of committing a crime, Officer Weaver? It's a yes or no question.
I suspect that reasonable suspicion is letting me know that there's a juvenile in your car that I can plainly see. That's plain view. Okay. I know that I got a call about a juvenile running around naked. Okay. Did you observe any of these children running around naked? Well, I don't know how many children you have. May I see?
Yeah. Why not?
You can look in. Just 2 in here. Is there any in the back seat?
No, sir.
In the very back?
That's
okay. Okay. Okay.
And quite frankly, if you look at their faces, you're scaring them.
Okay. What am I doing to scare them?
You're a man with a gun.
You're harassing me. Their father.
Can you please define the word harass, please?
You're holding me against my will in this detention you got.
Disturbance or an annoyance. I'm simply conducting an investigation.
Yeah.
Because I'm a police officer.
Okay.
That is my job. So how can I be harassing you if I'm simply doing my job?
Gotcha. So
I'm holding you against your will. There's no possible way I could be harassing you by holding you against your will. No way.
I'm not obstructing you from doing your job. You can do your investigation.
By refusing to identify yourself.
I'm not identifying myself. I haven't committed a crime.
Okay. Well,
this is not Nazi Germany.
Do what now?
It's not Nazi Germany.
Oh, I wouldn't. I'm not. And I'm not forcing you to. I'm just simply trying to keep you within the scope of.
I'm not forcing you to. All I said was give me your ID, and because you didn't, I said you're obstructing justice. You're obstructing my investigation. You're getting in the way of me doing my job, and guess what? Things ain't gonna go well for you. But I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm not coercing you. I'm not holding you against your will. By the way, did I tell you you're under detention? I'm holding you against your will, but I'm not harassing you. You can hold somebody against their will, but not harass them. And the Nazi thing, it's like, show me your papers. That's what this guy's doing. Show me your papers. Prove to me who you are so that I can find out about this kid we got a call about. How's that going to do that?
My investigation.
There's no reason why you should be afraid of me either, like you said. No.
I said suspicious, not scared.
Okay.
Yeah, please be careful.
You have your backup right here. There's absolutely no reason why.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any weapons in the car?
No, sir.
Oh God.
And I didn't have to answer that either. But as a courtesy, I don't have any weapons.
Like I said, this is a give and take. I'm not trying to hinder you. What I mean is my sidearm is very visible. It's right here on my side. This is the only weapon that I have, and it's on my side. Okay. So I would just like to know, for my safety and yours, if you have any weapons in the car.
I'm asking for your safety if you have firearms in the car. That makes a whole lot of sense. How does that ensure my safety? Me answering the question of if I have firearms or not. How do I gain safety through that, officer? I don't quite understand that. Could you explain that? Could you break it down to me?
I'm going to go speak with this other unit here. I thought he was going to get out. I'm going to go speak with him briefly. If you could just kind of remain as you are.
Did they give you a description of the child running around, or?
Just that
That's a good question.
Juvenile was approximately around the age of possibly 11 to 12, but could be younger.
He seems like he's making it up.
Yeah.
Making it up.
You can see my concern.
I would like to FOIA request the call that brought him actually out to this, if there was even a call. That'd be interesting.
Because there's grave danger that could exist if something were to be wrong with this situation, like say with you and your kids, if you were having some type of issue, or if your child was having an issue, and it were to jump out and run out in front, it's just very dangerous. That's why I'm conducting an investigation. I take those things very seriously when it comes to children. Okay. I'm gonna go speak with this other unit real quick.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's a tyrant, guys. That's a tyrant. Let's see when he comes back here. Okay, he's fast forwarding this. Thanks for joining, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit the like button and share this everywhere.
Okay. So, I have spoke with Deputy Bobby Edwards with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, and I conferred with him and asked him, you know, I don't want to violate your rights. I am conducting an investigation, okay? And I feel like I do have reasonable suspicion that something could be amiss here.
I feel like I do.
But
like what?
But you have 2 juveniles in your car,
Okay.
in the area that the complaint was called out.
I feel like something is amiss here because you have 2 juveniles in your car. I feel like I feel like I might have reasonable articulable suspicion. No, that's not good enough. You have to have it. You can't feel like you got it.
Clarify that these are
You can't feel like I might possibly commit criminal activity with this truck or with juveniles in my car.
children.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're scaring them.
Well, you know, the only thing that I know to tell you is something I learned a long time ago. I can't provide security, which is part of being a police officer, without some form of, what was the word? Without a little bit of discomfort. That just comes with the nature of this. And I don't mean it. I really don't. I'm simply trying to conduct an investigation.
I can't provide security without a little bit of discomfort is what this guy's saying. This guy is stretching thin, man.
But
he's like Stretch Armstrong.
After speaking,
they're the
Deputy
feelings
Edwards, and gaining some wisdom from him. Okay,
this guy is
step on your rights.
making things up.
I do not think at this time, okay, from what the sum of everything that I've gathered, I do not think that you've committed a crime. Okay, and I don't want to overstep my bounds as an officer by trying to force you to do something or try to force you to do something that is in direct violation of your rights.
You already did. You said the guy is detained and he's not free to go. That's already a violation of rights. You already asked this guy for his identification. That is a transgression of a Fourth Amendment right that you swore to protect, defend, and uphold. And here you are violating the very thing that you swore to protect and defend. So you don't have any explanation, officer. You don't have any ground to stand on. And that's why we do these videos, so that we can sensitize people. And that's why I appreciate people like Double Tap App News or Double App News going out there and doing this kind of stuff and maintaining calm and holding these law enforcement officials to account.
I have rights, you have rights. That's the way that I police. I want to be fair. Firm but fair within the law. And at this time, after speaking with Deputy Edwards, I do not feel like that I have enough evidence or probable cause to make you or try to force you to identify yourself.
In other words, Deputy Edwards told me what to say. He told me I need to come over here and try to eat humble pie, but because I have a bruised ego right now, I'm going to try to explain to you that we're going to let you off this time.
And so with that, I'm going to leave you. I don't know your name, and that's all right. I don't think that you've committed a crime, and I do apologize for inconvenience. That's what the word I was looking for. Sometimes you can't provide security without inconvenience, and that is a part of my job. So, like I said, have a good day, and I apologize for your inconvenience. But I am going to be leaving, and like I said, I don't think that at this time I have probable cause to think that you have committed a crime. So, therefore, I'm terminating my investigation. Okay?
Yeah. I need a CAD number. Can you write it down for me, please?
You could.
I'm going to terminate the investigation, but I want you to know I'm only doing it on my terms after conferring with my fellow deputy, not because you held my feet to the fire and caught me lying and then lying again and then continuing to lie. Gee.
Call Jackson County Dispatch, 911, and let them know that you were just stopped by Officer Weaver at the Jackson County Extension Office.
Now that's an emergency line.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a?
I do. I have a regular landline if you'd like that. It's 606-287-9979.
Okay.
Okay. As a courtesy to you, if you give me just a second, if dispatch has a CAD up and running at this time, I'll get that for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Valentino says, Deputy Edwards says to tell you, I'm sorry. City of McKee Police. Got nothing better to do.
There's a CAD number for my investigation.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, that is Double App News. Give him some love. I'm going to put the link in the chat room. We're going to go to call-ins right now. Let me put the number up on the screen. And keep in mind, guys, just the only rule I would have is we're going to go to the room and everybody's going to vote on whether you want to continue listening to the caller, okay? We're going to try to keep it at 5 minutes. Let me go ahead and put the call-in up there. The call-in is 410-9174. That's 918-410-9174. You guys call in. And, pretty much we can talk about anything we want, but, let's make sure it's something that maybe will add to our pool of knowledge so that we can confront police better or whatever, something along those lines. If you got a story that you want to talk about, that, an encounter that happened to you with law enforcement, let me make sure that I got the... And if you got a question or whatever. What's up, Christopher? Be nice, somebody said. Who said be nice? Christopher says, dude's the boss. Let's see, did I put the link? Did it even go up there? I don't know. This is Double App News. Double App News. Kick rocks, officer ego, got butt hurt. Yep. What's up, Rathgar? Okay, so I got the line open. This is my Google. Okay, so here's a call from Texas.
Call from Strata.
Hey, it's Strata. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
Another day in paradise?
Sorry I missed you in Houston when I was up there with the NRA thing.
That's fine. I was gonna go. I wasn't feeling too well. I was gonna go and try and send you a message saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be there," but I just didn't feel right that Saturday or Sunday. I don't know if it was something I ate or whatever it was.
Oh, you better now?
Oh yeah.
Good, man. Good. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, this encounter I was just watching, it reminded me of a situation I had back in 2008 when I was in the Navy. So my ex is Mexican. We left San Diego, we went to Houston, and we were driving down to Eagle Pass, Texas with her brother and her sisters. And a cop stopped because he was speeding. He was going about 15, 20 over the limit, and I was so tired I was trying to sleep. The cop thought I was drugged up. And I'm the only white dude sitting in a car full of Mexicans. He thought I was being kidnapped because the town we were going to was a border town, and I was getting annoyed. And I was just wanting to sleep, and he's like, "Are you okay? What's your name?" He's like, "Do you know these people?" And I was like, "Yeah, Diego." I was giving him all the names of everyone. He kept shining his light in my eyes, and I finally handed him my Navy ID. And I was like, "Yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm okay." And I didn't realize it till the next day when I was talking to my ex about it. He's like, "Oh, he thought we were kidnapping you." And I was like, "Really? That's a thing?" He's like, "Yeah, they do. They kidnap white people and take them to Mexico."
Oh, are you serious? That's hilarious. Okay, so was it daytime or nighttime?
It was late night. I had been up. We had a late flight coming out of San Diego going into Houston, and her brother picked us up there with his two other sisters, and I was sitting up in the front passenger seat, and I was just trying to sleep, and they kept thinking the guy thought I was being kidnapped or something. I mean, he did. I appreciate him really, doing what he did. I do get annoyed about stuff like that, but
yeah,
it really could have been a bad situation.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it could have. How did they determine at nighttime though? Was this a situation where the vehicle was stopped, or did they see you driving down the road, or what? How did they even?
So her brother was speeding. He was doing about 15, 20 over the speed limit. He was doing like 80 or 85 or something. He was going really fast. And we were all tired. It was late night. It was close to midnight. And so the cop pulled him over for speeding, and then he saw the one white dude in a vehicle full of Mexicans, and that was it, man. He's like, hey, he kept shining his light in my eyes, trying to wake me up. Are you all right? He thought I was drugged up. I was just tired.
That is hilarious, man. That is a good story right there.
But other than that, all I notice is that HPD likes to get in car wrecks on a weekly basis, and I don't know.
And what are the cause of the wrecks for that? Is it distracted driving where they're looking at they're trying to text or using their laptop computers, or what? Do you know?
They don't always say that. They really don't report that. But what I see when I pass them on the road, I do see a lot of officers looking at their laptops, and I've seen a lot of officers walking around on their phone. I don't know, man. It could be responding to calls and just excessive speed, losing control, not prepared for the situation, or just other people. We talk about this regularly at school, that they'll see officers on their laptops while they are driving on the 45. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty common thing in this area.
Rules for thee and not for me. Hey, Strata, I appreciate it, man. That was a good story.
You have a good evening.
All right, man. Take care. All right, the number is 918-410-9174. That is hilarious. I mean, I always suspect that if you're getting pulled over, it's basically a fishing expedition. They're going to try to find out what they can get away with as they're violating your rights. Luke himself says, I could tell at least 6 stories of cops planting drugs in vehicles, how they shot a friend through the back car window on his driveway, beating friends, crushed one in an electric Sally port door. This is from Los Angeles, California.
Call from?
It's from LA.
What's up, Los Angeles? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, trying to talk to the auditor here. Here's the deal.
Yeah, that's me. How you doing, man? What's your name?
My name is Ed. I'm from LA.
What's going on, Ed? What you got for us?
I came out. I remember on last February I had gone busted for felon with a firearm. I'm not a felon. This cop, I'm coming out of my friend's house, and I have my firearm, but no bad intent or anything, whatever. Wasn't doing anything. I just live in a bad neighborhood. I'm right here drinking with my friends, but I was already leaving. I was throwing my can away, and these cops show up with they show up, they roll up all crazy with this is LAPD, by the way. Come shining the light on us, and they're like asking questions. They don't even see me. I'm like standing behind this van, and I'm already saying my goodbye to my friend, and I'm like, all right, guys. I didn't even say guys. I was just like, all right, man, I'm gonna take off. All right, man, I'll see you later. Walk home. Cop chases me. He's like, hey, come here. What are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm going home. I throw my can in the trash can. He's like, dude, you're drinking. I was like, so? So? Grabs me, frisks me, searches me, finds my firearm. Let's go with the firearm. Pulls his fucking firearm on me. And he's like, don't move, I'll shoot you. I was like, dude, grab the firearm. My hands are right here. Grab the firearm. They booked me and charged me with felon with a firearm. And this is weird because
wait a second. Wait a second. They charged you with felon with a firearm, and you didn't have a felony?
No, I don't have a felony. That felony was expunged, and it was dropped down to a misdemeanor. So I don't even know how he found that thing. I don't even know what the hell is going on with these people.
So what ended up happening?
I ended up getting booked, and I ended up having to be in jail for 2 weeks because of the whole COVID lockdown. So I was in there for. I can't hear you.
And do you have a family?
Okay. Yeah, I have no kids or anything, but I live with my brother and stuff and his friends and.
Yeah, but you went to jail for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I went to jail for 2 weeks.
That is ridiculous, man. Okay, so what? Okay, how long ago was this?
This was in January 15th.
Okay,
so
so
in February 2nd.
What has happened since then? Have they dropped the charges or what?
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. So the lawyer's telling me, the lawyer's putting in a motion to suppress evidence because the officer violated my rights. So and I'm fighting that case right now, and they don't even know what to charge me now.
But basically, until all this stuff is ironed out, this is costing you time and it's costing you money, right?
Yes, I lost my job and I messed up my whole college career.
Wait a second. You lost your job because of the 2 weeks of not showing up for work, or when did you lose your job?
After I got busted for that, Uber deactivated my account, so I lost a job, and I had to start college like way later in the semester. I had to beg my professors to let me.
Man, this is ridiculous, man. I cannot stand that kind of that right there is the epitome of tyranny. So this happened back in January. Now it's June.
Yeah.
Where are we at with the case now? I mean, what is your lawyer saying?
I have to go back in July. So I'm gonna have to see what the judge wants to do. I don't know if she's gonna suppress the evidence or I'm gonna have to go to trial for this thing. so it's like the whole thing. It's all a big mess. It's even if you try to stand up for your rights, and even if you fight the case, the repercussions from it are worse.
Yes.
Are worse.
Yeah, because even if you're innocent, even if you can prove you're innocent, and even if they drop the case after 6 months, 12 months, 18 months or whatever, your life has already been devastated. So like, what are you doing now what are you doing? Do you have a job now? How are you sustaining yourself now with this horrible economy we got?
Yeah, luckily I ended up finding this really great church that let me work as a custodian for them. So I'm gonna.
You cut out.
When that case drops, I'm gonna try to sue that officer and just try to get back on my feet again, because law enforcement is not in a good place. I'm gonna start auditing everything, but I don't want to get, I don't want to. But I'm gonna do it though, and I'm gonna audit LAPD. You guys are gonna love it.
Well, this totally sucks. Do you have a channel or what? Do you have a channel?
Yeah, the one I'm gonna start using for that is called LA's Observer. There's one video that I got from YNC that I wanted to show, but like just see if I can get some hits. But I'm gonna start filming the LAPD, and I hope you guys. It's called LA's Observer. There's nothing on there right now. There's only like one video, but I'm gonna start auditing. These cops, these bad cops. We need to keep catching these bad cops. We need to put them out there because this isn't fair for us. Well, we're not doing anything wrong here. We're just living our lives.
Yeah, exactly. And what sucks about this, and what people don't understand, is a simple pullover, a simple traffic stop could literally not only ruin a person's life, but lead them to such desperation in their lives that some people actually turn to a life of crime. It's like, hell, I lost my job. I lost my family. I've got nothing to lose. Why don't I just go ahead and just start shooting up the place? That people don't understand the power that cops actually have to ruin somebody's life, and by extension, they become a cancer in society, and the cancer metastasizes in society, and then people who otherwise wouldn't have been bad start doing bad stuff because it's like, hey, I'm not getting ahead by being a good guy. I'm not getting ahead by minding my own business and obeying the traffic laws because the cops are always going to be behind me turning on the cherries and berries, conducting their fishing expedition. Dang, this just infuriates me, man.
Yeah.
Well, keep us okay. So it's LA's. What's it called? Your YouTube channel is going to be called what? LA's
Observer.
LA's Observer. Okay, man. We'll be watching for you. Thanks for chiming in and telling us what's on your mind.
Thanks for everything you guys do. Love you guys.
Hey,
later.
Appreciate you, man. Love you back. Take care. Oh my God, that gets under my skin because you think about, like, who I think about? I think about Kevin, what was his name? Kevin Strickland in Missouri, who got charged with that triple homicide back in the 1970s, went to jail for 42 years. He didn't even do it. And the people who actually did do it came forward, admitted that they did it. And then they get 10 years apiece. They're out in the late 80s, free and clear. And Kevin Strickland, who didn't even do it, is still in jail. It's just, man, it's suffocating to even think about that kind of stuff. This call's from Florida.
Brian.
Hey, you're on Here's the Deal. How you doing?
Oh my God, is this Brian?
You are live. Who's this?
Holy smokes, my name is Brian as well. It's an honor to speak to you, sir.
Hey, you too, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, I mean, where to begin? But I've been following you for a couple years now, and reposted a bunch of your videos on Odyssey, and appreciate everything you do, brother.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for getting the word out there. I love Odyssey.
For sure. Well, I mean, who knows what to talk about? There's all sorts of stuff going on, but you know, I'm from Arizona originally. I'm living in South Florida now, but the Arizona cops are crazy, bro. Crazy.
That's what I keep hearing from DirectD and some of the other auditors up there. Are you in tune with DirectD and a lot of stuff that they do up there?
Yeah, man. And I always appreciate you recalling the case of the unfortunate gentleman from the Mesa PD, because I'm actually from Mesa, Arizona.
Daniel, are you talking about Daniel Shaver, James Boyd? Which one?
It's a shame that there's more than one, but the young man who was face down in the hallway in the hotel that was, you know, playing a game of Twister.
Yep.
And, you know, walking on the tip of his nose.
Yep.
Following all the demands, and they still shot him, yeah.
Daniel Shaver, murdered in cold blood by Philip Brailsford. Yep. Mesa Police Department.
Yes, sir. So sad. I've had some crazy run-ins with the law in Arizona back in the day as well. But you know, what just makes me super sad is that everything that you're talking about these days, especially with all the politicians who want to take people's guns away, but then they are always surrounded by guns and weapons to protect themselves. And I've never been big on gun ownership and guns in general, because try to be a Buddhist, try to be nonviolent, and try to be as peaceful as possible. Definitely an anarchist as well, and you know, follow everything that, you know, just resonates so highly with everything that you say and everything you do. And I sincerely appreciate your integrity and everything you try to make people aware of and whatnot. But yeah, you know, so I don't even know where I was going with all that, but these days are crazy. The politicians want to take everyone's guns away, which they'll never do in one way or another. But you know, if we didn't have this buffer class of people that want to be the enforcers, then we could be a lot better of a society. You know, the people that are above us that try to control us, the elites, they're only protected by the group, you know, in between them and us, which is the enforcers. And it just makes me really sad that there's a class of people that just want to be, you know, enforcers and want to harm people and want to enforce rules they don't agree with. And, you know, just if there wasn't that buffer group of people, what could we accomplish? What could we do? Who could we be without people that want to push other people around just for, you know, just for a paycheck? It's always for money. It's always for a paycheck. It's always for, got to do this for my family, like you say.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you said that. I talked to a cop in St. Louis, Missouri one time, and I was like, dude, how can you do what you're doing? You know what you're doing is wrong, because you're actually inflicting violence on people who just want to be left alone, and you know they haven't committed any crime. You know what he said? He said, man, at the end of the day, I got to get paid because I got to feed the children. Those was his exact words. Somebody gave me a real quick correction in the chat room. James Boyd was murdered by the Albuquerque Police Department. Thank you, Constitutional Auditor. And it was the Mesa Police Department that murdered Daniel Shaver in the hallway of that La Quinta Inn by Philip Brailsford. Hey, so let me ask you, Brian, since you lived in Arizona and now you live in Southern Florida, do you see a major difference between the way the police department in Arizona and the police department in your area in Southern Florida are interacting with the public?
Well, 100%, man. I grew up in Arizona in the 80s and 90s, and you know, marijuana, cannabis was really illegal out there because of you know, the closeness of Arizona to the border. So they always crack down harder for cannabis in Arizona than other states. And you know, there was a time where possessing paraphernalia or having like a seed in your car or any kind of a trace of marijuana use was a classic felony. And I'm not going to lie, I was pinched a couple of times out in Arizona for that. And dealing with the cops was pretty brutal. But, you know, here in Florida, even before marijuana was decriminalized for the large part, if they caught you with it, or if you were, caught doing it, or they got wind of it or what have you, they weren't so strict on it like they were in Arizona. The Arizona cops are just super Nazis and really, really harsh. The penalties are really stiff and severe. They go over the top. They try to make an example of people. And, I think they have to do that just because they have to show a front. They have to do what they have to do to get their money appropriated from the DEA, bigger budgets, bigger salaries, bigger stakes, that kind of thing. And, so the cops in South Florida are a little bit more relaxed. But there's a lot more crime happening in Phoenix, from people coming across the borders and whatnot, trafficking and all these kind of things. But it's a shame wherever you go, no matter what country or wherever. I hate to say it, but the gentleman that pushed that cop around, I think it was in Ecuador, when all the civil unrest was starting a couple years ago. There was people fighting somewhere in front of a bank in Ecuador, and somebody splashed some gasoline on a cop and lit the cop on fire. And I don't know, man. I'm not saying that we need to start killing cops, but it's not fair that they can harm us and kill us. But we're powerless. We can't do anything back. It's all just a shit show. No one's gonna win in the long run, and it's all just really, really sad that people just even want to harm people in the first place. But you're right. It always goes back to money. Money's falling apart. The banking system's falling apart. If there's no money and there's no banking system, then everything's falling apart as far as currency. Then why do people want to come to work anymore, earn a paycheck to enforce rules they don't even agree with? So I don't know. At some point, it all has to tip the other way. Sooner than later. I just pray that it tips the other way. But I just want to appreciate everything you do, man. I follow you a lot, and I just really love everything you say and do, and trying to find a 3-ring binder for my car so I can keep that statute of my car with me so I don't have to have a license and a insurance and tags.
Oh, I know. How's that? So what county are you in? Are you in Dade County in Florida?
I'm a little bit north of that. I'm actually in Palm Beach County, which is Palm Beach area, not Fort Lauderdale, not Dade, Miami, but I'm just a little bit north in Palm Beach County. But there's so many cops here. It just never ends with the amount of cops on the roads, and things just don't feel right. Things don't feel safe. It's not good.
Yeah, man. Hey, I really appreciate your input and you calling in tonight, Brian.
I sincerely appreciate you being available on a Saturday night, bro. I had no idea you were on. Took a huge chance calling in. I freaking love you, bro. I'm glad that we share the same name, and I'm so grateful for everything you do for humanity, man. I'm so honored to speak with you, and I appreciate everything you do, brother. Be safe out there.
Hey, love you back, man. Take care, Brian.
Huge love, brother.
Take care. Bye. All right, that was Brian from Southern California. Thanks for calling in, Brian. Their power is convincing half the population that their crimes are okay, and we are the uncivil ones. Well said, Christopher. And thanks for that constitutional. Thank you for that correction on the Albuquerque Police Department murdering James Boyd. Call from Tennessee.
Call from
Luke.
What's up, Luke from Tennessee? How you doing?
Oh man, wow! I can't believe I got through.
You are live. What part of Tennessee are you from?
East Tennessee, right by the North Carolina border.
East Tennessee, like Tri-Cities area, Knoxville.
Yeah, the Tri-Cities area. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've been to Knoxville plenty of times. Went to the 1982 Knoxville World Fair. You know where the Sun Sphere is? Do you know that's the World Fair site?
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Do you know what?
About an hour.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I lived in Tennessee most of my adult life until we moved to California and then to Oklahoma.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm in Greene County, so okay. You'd know where that's at.
Okay, cool, man. What you got for us tonight?
It's something I've mentioned in the comments before, but it's just something hard to put in text. I had my buddy. The cops here. Let's see, if you've been around here, you know probably about how crazy the cops can be around here, with like no oversight really, and you can't really do anything about it. You can't report it to anybody. It's just nothing will happen.
I think on the civil asset forfeiture front, just from the little that I've studied about it, the I-40 East and West corridor going through Tennessee is one of the worst as far as them confiscating large amounts of cash. Is that still true?
Oh, that's not something I've personally dealt with, or with friends and stuff. That's not something I've dealt with, but it wouldn't surprise me. But my friend was dropping a buddy off after work, so it was like 11 o'clock at night, and this was just a couple of years back. But this is the type of stuff that happens here. He dropped him off. It was about 11 at night. They had an hour commute from where they were working, so it was a long drive. He dropped him off, and there was a cop just parked off to the side of the road, just watching traffic. And he pulled my buddy over and walked up and punched him in the face. He didn't even say anything. Just punched him and started yelling at him to get out of the car, and then yanked the door open. He yanked the door open so hard that the seatbelt thing flipped over the door, and he started trying to yank him out of the car through his seatbelt, because it was one of those cars with the seatbelt attached to the door frame. And anyway, he kept telling him to stop resisting, get out of the car, stop resisting, and and he was like, "My seatbelt, it's my seatbelt." And Jesse's just a little 130-pound guy, and this is a big dude doing this to him, a big cop too. So you can't even, he couldn't resist in a normal circumstance. So he reached over eventually, as he had him over the footstep of the Honda, he was almost out of the car, but the seatbelt was still attached. So he was sitting on the footstep beside the seat, and this cop was just yanking at him. And he elbowed him in the face and grabbed the in order to reach over, he elbowed him in the face and to undo his seatbelt. And when he undid the seatbelt, he yanked him out and threw him onto the pavement, just all in kind of like one big motion. And the seatbelt flipped over and wrapped over the door hang, or the door frame, because the window was down. It wrapped over and through a couple times. And he stood him up and slammed him onto the hood of the car, and he still hadn't said anything to him besides stop resisting.
How long ago was this, man?
This was about 3 years ago.
Was there any body cams rolling, dash cams that you guys had? Was anybody recording it at all?
No. This is they waited a really long time to even start doing body cams around here, and then half the time they don't have them, and if you request the footage, it will have been lost. It happens so often that it's like a joke.
Yeah.
Lost the body cam footage. It's like, oh, okay, that's convenient.
So
I bet it would have showed up if it was on your side, right?
So yeah, what happened with this encounter?
Okay, so he had him pushed up on the hood. He started going through all of his pockets, went through his wallet, and Jesse was like, what did I do wrong? I mean, imagine it. He's like, what did I do wrong? And it's because his asset sounded. And the cop was like, shut up, and kept going through his wallet and everything, asked him if that's who he was, grabbed his phone, started going through all of his text messages and his recent calls and everything. And he was like, what are you doing over here by this house, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I just dropped my buddy off. His name's Ed. He lives at this house. And he was like, that's a known drug dealer's house. It was like a 18, 19-year-old kid that lived next door who was selling weed, apparently, to one of the police people's sons. And so this cop was doing some extra personal mission to just harass anybody who was going there trying to bust this kid for selling weed. And this was how he was treating people. And it was all over, like, I think it was the police chief's son when it came down to it. But how the confrontation ended, after he explained it all, the cop was still just so irate and upset. He said, Jesse said the whole time that he did this, that it was like the guy was just angry the whole time. It seemed like he was really angry, you know, and furious or something, you know, because he was just going full force. But after he finally explained it all enough to where the cop couldn't say anything else about it, he told him, he gave his phone back and everything. I don't know how exactly that went down, but they were standing there, and it was real fast. It wasn't like a really long, drawn out thing. But he said, he just told him to get the hell out of here. There was no official anything, no police report, nothing. It was just that, you know.
So did you and your friend kind of, the takeaway from this, did you guys learn, hey, anytime I have a police encounter from now on, I am going to record like crazy?
That's something I've tried to get into his head, but he's so scared of the cops, man. Dude, old people around here are scared to death of the cops. Yeah. And I try to explain that to people, and they're like, no, cops are different in small towns. There's only like 10, 20 cops. Well, there's like hundreds of cops in my area, and it is such a small area. There's no public transportation, hardly a cab company. You know, and Lyft and stuff doesn't even work around here, right? Like, it's small and spread out, and there's a lot of cops.
Yeah, constitutional auditor says in the room, you can't just record. You need a phone that they can't get in or to live stream. If the pigs can erase the video, destroy the flashcard memory, they will. Yeah, that's a horrible encounter of tyranny with a tyrant, and there's not. I mean, basically, if you press charges against the guy, it's his word against yours. You're going to lose. Even when you record a cop doing, you know, some criminal activity, you know, a lot of times, you know, like Amber Geiger shoots Botham Jean in his own house, and she only gets 10 years, and she's going to be out on parole this year. It's just crazy how the law enforcement class appear to have more rights in the eyes of the state than, you know, regular people.
Yeah, extra right. Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of people feel they have a certain experience with smaller towns where it is like an Andy Griffith situation, or a lot closer to that than a big city situation. But it's some of these places like this place, it is a night and day difference. Like, I went to Richmond, Virginia, and lived there for a year outside of Richmond in Chesterfield, and I saw one cop in 11 months, one cop. And it was just the strangest thing to me, because this is where I've lived for like ever. And this is what I'm used to. When I leave and go to the store a mile away, usually I will pass one or two cops. And I am on a county road way out here. If I go all the way into town about 5 miles away, like all the way across town, then I will pass probably 6 cops, 7 cops on that trip. That, you know, it's constantly, you never not pass cops. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be comfortable in Mayberry. There's an episode of Andy Griffith I saw one time where this guy was just trying to do a vegetable cart on the side of the road, trying to make a little bit of money. And basically Andy Griffith comes up, or Barney, I think initially does, and says, hey, you're not licensed to do this. You need to move along. And basically there's all these implied threats of force and stuff like that. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I don't care if the power rests in the lap of Andy Griffith or Barney Fife. Somehow it reaches down into somebody's soul and makes them a different person, you know?
It really does.
Well,
hey, that person do some kind of public service or something, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna get to one more caller. I really appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, thanks for all you do, bro.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate your time. Take care. All right, guys, one more call, and I'm gonna have to hang it up for tonight. I didn't realize it was almost 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Holy cow. Brian, need to see the video where the CIA could hypnotize someone to be an assassin. Is that under MK Ultra, Bootlicker? That sounds very familiar. Very, very familiar. If you guys want to call in, 918-410-9174. We'll take one more call. Pursuant to Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, no titles of nobility equal public servants calling themselves cops. Interesting. Interesting, you have rights. All right, one more call here. This is from Nevada.
Call from.
You have rights. Cops have duties.
To accept.
What's up? You have rights. You're live on Here's the Deal.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I wanted to call in tonight to kind of try to explain something that I've been trying to I've been passionate for like 3 years about it, and I've been trying to explain it to people, but I haven't really been able to get on any videos about it for some reason or other. But I was going to say that CFR 2635.101, the basic obligations of public service, is something to read. And then I wanted to read something. It says, it should also be noted that the United States Supreme Court in all of its ultimate wisdom gave full immunity to judges, attorneys, court reporters, stenographers, law enforcement officers, and expert witnesses, and blase, it goes on. But what I want to point out is that these people are calling themselves expert witness. They're calling themselves law enforcement officers. They're calling themselves stenographers and judges. But what they really are under the federal executive branch of the United States, which is this stems down to the State Department, is they are public service agent under 5 CFR 2635.101, their federal standard on ethics. And as a matter of fact, that the Supreme Court might give a judge a immunity, but the judge doesn't. It doesn't say public service agent or employee. Pursuant to the ethical standards of the federal executive branch that the State Department stems down from.
So, have you tried to make a video on this?
I've been thinking about making a big video on this, and I've compiled quite a bit of documentation, and but I haven't gotten the point around to the point to compile it all, because I'm kind of just manic about learning law, and
well, how
at the same time,
how difficult would it be to convey just the simple message of what you're trying to get across? Are there too many laws to go through? Because what you really want is Go ahead.
It's just that, whenever I tell somebody to focus on 5 CFR 2635.101, basic obligations of public service, they read it and they're thinking yeah, we know that this should be implemented, but it's not. And then I'm like, well, there's more to it, because Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 says no titles of nobility. And when a cop is calling himself something more than a public service agent, which has a duty to uphold the trust and not be seeking private gain from his duties or from his service, he's sitting there trying to call himself a cop so that he looks more important to the community. And all the while, he's just a mere public service agent that shouldn't even be trying to collect a paycheck for his service.
Yeah, you know what's disheartening about going through all these laws, though? If you take something simple like 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, it's pretty clear language that you can't, under the color of any law, ordinance, decree, whatever, in any city, state, town, hamlet, and all that kind of stuff, deprive somebody of their constitutional rights. But the problem is, we have more than one supreme law of the land in the minds of the law enforcers, and it ain't the Constitution. It's not the Bill of Rights. Sometimes it's not even the Supreme Court. You could give them, you could give them Gonzalez versus what is it? DeShaney versus Winnebago County, Gonzalez versus whatever that town was in Colorado. And it seems pretty clear that the cops have no obligation or duty, according to that Supreme Court, law to,
May I say something on this?
Hold on one second. Let me just finish my thought real quick.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. That they have no obligation to protect anybody, according to the Supreme Court. You throw up 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, and 241, conspiracy against rights. You make it very clear that they did conspire against your rights, and these are the rights that they have. And then you've got the Second Amendment that it shall not be infringed, but you've got 1,000 federal laws against carrying firearms, and it gets so disheartening and convoluted that it's like, why even bring up the very laws that you say you're going to follow when you don't even follow them? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's so awesome that you say that. Thank you, true American, as far as what we have been taught to be and all that. I wanted to touch on the fact that, our only duty as humans is to remain lawful if we were going to follow the social contract and this and that, like they've been established in the 1600s and then led to the Constitution in the 1700s, and then what we're supposed to be doing through this country. So if we remain lawful, when we choose to swear an oath to the duty, we swear to be both lawful and ethical. So that's why cops can't wear their favorite Slayer shirt to work, or they call it work, but it's not even a work. It's a service to the public trust. And the service to the public trust is different than an office of gain. This is what the Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 teaches us, is that there's a difference between a office of profit and an office of trust. And when you look up office of trust, you say, what's an office of trust under the government? And it'll say, the office of trust is a public service is a public trust. All employees shall be loyal to the Constitution and the laws and ethical practices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I do. Let me offer a suggestion, man, real quick, because I do have to take off here. But why don't you create a video that distills all the information you're trying to convey in a way that the masses can digest it, and send me an email and I'll promote it for you.
Okay, but all I want the United States public to understand is that they have to remain lawful and ethical, while we have to remain lawful, which we have rights. That's why their duty is to go above and beyond the rights that they thought that they have. They don't just get to wear their own Slayer shirt to work. That's how you can tell that they have actually set a couple rights of theirs aside in order to uphold the rights of the people. And when they and that was the part of that was supposed to be honorable about their duty. And the American people could just remember that they're public service agents, not cops, judges, and this and that. Judges term reserved for the federal judicial branch, not the state mockery. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it.
You too. I appreciate everything you do. You're an awesome dude.
Hey, man, have a good night. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap it up here. Luke himself says they've complicated this whole system so much it's like a tick dug into the skin, like an unfixable mess. Yeah, it's like scrambling an egg. Once it's scrambled, you can't get it back into its shell. This guy's cool. Send the video. I'll watch this video, says Thirst for Truth. Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's got. I like it when people take all these complex terms and laws and stuff and then boil it down into a digestible format that the non-sharp knives in the drawer like myself can actually understand. So guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight. Before you head out, please hit that like button and share this video with everybody you know if you think it's valuable. Thank you for all the thank you for the support and the super chats and the comments in the comment section, the chat room, and I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban live stream. Take care.